Hi, it's Skeincocaine, back with another knitting podcast. I have no excuses for why it has taken me so long to get back to you, but life, just lots and lots of life, lots and lots of living. My name is Skeincocaine, and I am coming to you from the Blueridge Mountains of Virginia in the United States on the East Coast, and we're Virginia Tech, Hokie Central. The whole town is all about Virginia Tech. So here with another knitting podcast. I have been starting lots of things. I have been finishing nothing. I did start a Ranunculus, and I finished it. I finished it immediately. Like, it took me about 2 or 3 days to do this Ranunculus. My pattern is the original pattern. That's just one size. You do it on a size US 10 needle with fingering weight yarn, and that's what I did. I used the original pattern and I cast on. I'm doing it out of this, which is super party. I don't really have a name for this yet, but I'll figure out one, and it'll be under the video. You can click on the link and buy this. This is on my new Italian merino base, which I really love. It's a superwash merino nylon, but the twist is tighter than some other fingering weight 4-plies. It's much tighter, but it's so pretty. Anyway, I love it. I have this other color too, but I'll get to that. So I did this, but I cast on a Jessie May ripple top, and here it is. I know it looks really small, like it would fit our thigh, but it's really super stretchy. It's a 3x3, 3x3. You see there's a twisted rib at the bottom for 1 inch, and then at some point I'm gonna split all those stitches into 4s, and I'm gonna make the straps. But you know, I got to where I was gonna start to separate, and I lost interest. I lost my mojo with this one, and it got put into the basket. This is another new colorway. This is a summer 2023 new colorway. Pretty, eh? So these two together are just so gorgeous together. There they are. So then what did I start? Then I started, I don't know what the name of it is, but it's on the screen. I had one of these Baby Grand. This is called Fashion Week. This is a DK Baby Grand. And I started doing this tank top from Beth McDonald out of it. Covered in dog hair and cat hair. I apologize, but that's just the way my life is now. So you knit from the bottom up, and then I think again you're gonna, ooh, I'm losing stitches here, if you can see them. Shoot, I need stoppers. Anyway, so that's gonna be a tank top that's gonna, again, you're gonna separate it into 4 quadrants, and then it actually has bows on the top. It's really cute. So I'll get that done. The only thing I'm concerned about now with this is, and I'm knitting the medium, which is typically what I do. What I'm concerned about is because you're knitting this in the round and then you're going to separate the top into 4 quadrants and then you're going to knit back and forth to do each one of the pieces, right? The back and the front, the pieces, and then tie the bow. But what that's going to do is that's going to change the patterning on the sweater. And I wonder, like, it's going to be, I think, way further apart. So will that look good? Will it not be good? Stay tuned, because I don't know. We'll see. And what else? What else? I'm still working on my my enormous halibut sweater for either Ben or Dave. Still working on that. But the thing about this sweater is that now that it's really hot out, I sort of lost steam. But I still have a long way to go. I still have a long way to go on the body, and then I have to do the sleeves. But what I typically do is when I just can't take it anymore, I'll give this whip to Stephanie, my head dyer, and then she'll do the sleeves and finish it up for me. Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, what else do I have? Then we did these beautiful minis, absolutely gorgeous Donegal minis, fingering weight, and I started a triangle shawl with it from Sonder Yarn Company. It's a free pattern. And I am doing this, and I love it. Very simple. You're increasing always on the edges and increasing every other row on your knit side row in the center. And the next colors, these 2 greens are pretty close together. Kind of look like a fade, but those are 2 different colors. And my next color is going to be this one. And then the one after that is going to be black. After that. So that's humming along. I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait. I'm gonna do some small stripes on the bottom with the remainder of the colors, like go back and finish up, you know, what I have left from the other colors, and I'm gonna finish, sort of go in reverse order, and then I'm gonna finish up with this pink that's gonna be at the bottom of this shawl, and I think that's gonna look really beautiful. Anyway, we have these, they're 10 skeins, 10 skein Donegal minis, and there's a link if you want them. They're ready to ship. I dyed them up. We dyed up 20 sets. We're going to sell those sets and then move on. So that's what I've got going on right now. That's what's happening. So Stephanie and I last week went on the Virginia Blueridge Yarn Crawl, and this is a yearly crawl between the stores that are the LYSs that are close to me. And shockingly, the Blacksburg store decided not to be on the crawl, which is crazy because it is literally the busiest time of the year. Like, I owned a yarn shop, you know, for 10 years, wool workshop, and it was, you know, Christmas is always super busy, but the Yarn Crawl week was always the best week of the year. So for a business to decide that they don't want to participate is shocking to me, but to each his own. But anyway, so Blacksburg wasn't on it, but there were other shops that were on it. And Stephanie and I decided to go on a little road trip, and we decided to go to some of those stores. She did the whole crawl, but I didn't. I only went to some of them, some of the shops, but not all the shops. I went to the ones that were most local. I think the farthest away I got was Back Stitches. That was the furthest away. So I've got some footage. We're here at the knitting coop. It's raining really hard, but this is where we are. It's a super cute shop. I'm going in.
Which one was it? The one with the purple handles, the bird?
Yeah. I knew she had it. I knew
Yeah.
she got it.
Yeah.
So.
my way through this book because I think there's a lot of really good patterns in it. I bought this fun Delicue bag that's got these snaps, and I like bringing my knitting everywhere I go, and I put my project right in there, sometimes a sock, and then I snap it up. The string can pull right out of there, and I put it in my purse. I got some of these cozy cakes. I call them cozy cakes, and they are basically your yarn deserves a hug. And so I got a couple of those. Put on my stuff. I think it has to be a pretty big cake because see, like I have this one cake here, and I usually start from the outside because of yarn barf, but I'm gonna wind some cakes up and I'm gonna pull it from the center. You have to pull it from center. So I haven't really tried those out yet. Oh, wait. I did buy some yarn, but I don't know where it is right at the moment, but I had a custom colorway at one of the shops in Charlottesville, Magpie Knits. So they asked me to be, so every shop has, you know, an indie dyer, a Virginia indie dyer that dyes a custom colorway just for the crawl. So it's really fun because you go around to all the shops and you buy yourself one of the exclusive colorways, knowing full well you'll never get it again. And it kind of commemorates your trip, you know, as a memento. So Susan and Blair asked me to be their custom dyer, their indie dyer, and so I made them a colorway, and this was my colorway. And I pulled these two skeins because I wanted you to see, the ring light is making them way too light. See, they're totally blown out, but this is sort of blue, more blue, and this is more pink. You see that? But they have lots of stunning colors in them. Lots. And it's just, if you're making anything out of this, it's just fun. You never know what you're going to get. There's, 20 different colors in there. And they're going to be richer and more vibrant, of course, than what you're seeing on camera, because I have to, also because of all the forest fires on the East Coast, we have really bad air quality right now, and also it's really dark because of it. There's a haze out there. So I had to put the ring light on, but it's not doing the best job showing this beautiful yarn, but trust me, it's stunning. I kept some back for myself, and I have some. So if you look underneath this video, in the show notes, there'll be a link that says Virginia Blueridge Yarn Crawl. And I have some, I don't have a lot. I just, just slid a few over for myself, in case I wanted to knit with a sweater out of it, or I don't know. And so you can get your hands on some of those. They might have some left, but I don't think they do. But they might, I don't know. Magpie might if you want to buy it from them, but I have it. And let's see, what else do I have to say about the yarn crawl? Overall, the shop looks good. I don't like to say anything negative about shops because I've had one and I know that it's hard. Having a retail store in general is pretty hard. But one thing I found really odd about it was the fact that all of the shops had the same local dyers in it. It was like the same Notions people, the same 2 or 3 indie dyers, all the shops had, and that's just, I don't know, back when I had a shop, I wanted stuff that no one else had. And if I had yarn, with the exception of like Cascade or Plymouth or KFI or any of those, I mean, in terms of like indie dyed stuff, I always wanted something different. like, if you sold to the shop down the street from me, I was pissed. But now all of the local shops have all the same indie dyers. It is, I mean, with some change, but really, like, dyers from Roanoke, they're in all the local shops. I just don't operate that way. Like, I would just be in one shop. And that's it. I'm not doing a lot of wholesale right now because it's so, you know, dyeing yarn is so labor intensive that you know, my bases cost anywhere between $5 and $7 for the base wholesale. And then the labor and the dye and the water and the electricity, and then if you pay someone to help you, and then, you know, after you've dyed it and dried it, then you twist it and then you put it in a package. In the package, I always put swag in the package and put a handwritten note, but I put, you know, candy, and sometimes I put mini skeins in there and gifts, and there's packaging, a drawstring bag and the shipping and the labels. And so basically when you're selling yarn to a yarn shop for $15 or $14.50 or whatever, you're really not making, you're making a couple dollars max. It's just too hard. I do it like I did this custom colorway. I did it so for marketing, really, to get my, I just wanted to be part of it, I guess. But I typically don't like to do wholesale. So anyway. Okay, so all in all, it was fun. Stephanie went, like I said, to all the stores. I did not go to all the stores. I went to Knit and Coop, Wool Workshop, Stitch Witch, Back Stitches, and Yarn Seasons. And did I have a favorite? I mean, Wool Workshop is going to be my favorite, of course, because it used to be mine, and it still looks fabulous. It really does. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful store, if I do say so myself. Even though, you know, Laura and her mother have done a wonderful job, and Annette, who still works there, you know, wonderful job, great service. They're just sweet people, really sweet people. Okay, so now let's move on to the lifestyle part of this podcast. That's it for knitting. So books, what am I reading? I'm reading Mary Roach. If you've never read Mary Roach, she is so great. If you ever read Stiff, it's about dead bodies. It's really fun. This is about the afterlife. Is there one? This is a really fun book. I'm reading that. You're going to start to see a trend here. And then I'm reading Reality is Not What It Seems. And I'm perusing this. I bought this book finally at a secondhand store. And it is so pretty. It has so many beautiful things in it. So many beautiful stitch patterns. If you are sort of getting started in the design world and you wanted to, get inspired by stitch patterns, this would be the book to get. Absolutely. I mean, there are so many beautiful, beautiful, beautiful patterns in here. And you can just take the patterns and plug them into simple geometric shapes, and you have, intricate design work. And the chart is there, and it's really great. So that's fun. Okay, and like I said, I got this book. I'm going to work my way through. Okay, let's chat, let's talk. I'm going to get my knitting. Get your knitting. By the way, I haven't, there's a lot of you I have talked to on the phone or messaged on Instagram or whatever, but if you and I haven't connected in a little while, leave a comment down below and tell me how your summer is coming along. Do you have fun trips planned? What are you knitting? I know that's pretty general. My glasses are filthy. I had to go clean my glasses. My ring light is in my glasses. Well, I can't knit without my glasses, so forget it. That's just the way it is. Anyway, get your knitting out. Let's start chatting, okay? Okay, should I sit? Yeah, I probably should sit. Let's see. I've been walking. I walked 8 miles today with the dog. Anyway, even though I probably shouldn't have gone out today because of God, it's so bright. I shouldn't have gone out today because of the bad situation with the air quality, but I did anyway. Okay. So we watched Shrinking. That was fun with Harrison Ford. We watched, oh shoot, why am I having a blank? Well, okay, let me go into what I've really been watching. This is something that I think you guys might find interesting. I don't know. I can't sit. Right. I can't sit. I'm trying to sit, but I can't sit. Okay. So I have been watching. It started with, and you're going to think I'm crazy, but it started with me watching cancer vlogs, as in people vlogging on YouTube about their cancer journey. That's how it started. I can't think of this. And I really was enjoying it. And then I started watching these stories about end of life care. Because now on YouTube, you can pretty much watch anything to do with dying or, well, anything. You know, you want to clean your cast iron pot. There is a video about cleaning your cast iron pot. There is something for everyone on there. Well, I've always been fascinated with death and dying, and of course fearing it tremendously, but I still just fascinated with it. And you know, you can go into YouTube and you can type in anything that you want to watch about that. Want to watch someone dying? You can see what those last few moments are like. You can watch anything you want to watch on there. So I started getting into that. Then I somehow got into a track of near-death experiences, and I started watching those. And it dawned on me, I mean, I must have watched hundreds of them. Well, it dawned on me that I had one. Not a classic near-death experience. They're called an NDE, but they're called, I experienced something that when I always discounted it to drug use because it happened during a college drug experience. But it did kind of change something, and it did sort of resurface in a way later. I'm going to tell you how. So I'll tell you the story. So I'm in college, I'm in my dorm room, and we're doing whippets. And whippets are nitrous oxide, and you put them in a seltzer bottle, and then you breathe them in, and you hold it, and it sort of blocks your brain's ability to process oxygen. So my brain started to be oxygen deprived. Well, you do one, it feels good, it feels great, you know, it was really fun. But then I managed to suck a whole one in, hand the person next to me the seltzer, and before me blowing out the nitrous, they handed me another one. So I blew it out and did it again. By the time that I got to the fourth one, I was gone. I went somewhere else. But not only did I go somewhere else, I was crushed into a beam of light, crunched. And let me tell you, it hurt like a mother. And the next thing I know, there is a bearded man in a white robe and a brown belt who is, oh, no, that's not exactly the first thing I felt. The first thing I felt was the feeling of oneness with all, the feeling of connectedness, and the feeling that everything is okay. Everything is always going to be okay, and there is nothing to worry about. That was the sense that I had. It was a really comforting feeling. And then I saw this person, and with this a beard, you could say, "Oh, that sounds like Jesus." Okay, yes, it did. But then the person said, "You're not done yet. You must go back." And then I woke up. The reason I never thought anything about it is because, I live in a sort of Christian society, and I've had things planted in my head. Now, I have not really ever gone to church. I didn't do anything. I'm not spiritual, none of that. And I chalked it up to drug use. My brain was being restricted of oxygen, and that's what happened. Well, fast forward 20 or 30 years, fast forward, I think I was 18, and I heard the voice again, that particular voice again. But this time, I was 43 years old, and I was pregnant with Marcella, and they were all afraid in my OBGYN office, because I was an older mother. They thought that maybe Marcella had Down syndrome. Well, that just freaked me out. I mean, that just absolutely freaked me out so bad. I was like, oh my God, I can't, I know I can't abort this baby. I know that I'm going to have this baby. How is it going to affect my life, Ben's life, because Ben was 4 already. How's it going to affect my husband? How's it just going to affect everything? And I was just crying day and night. But I still had amniocentesis that I was going to do, which, if you know what that is, it's when they go in with a needle, they aspirate your amniotic fluid, and they test it, and they can tell you everything about your baby, basically. I had that scheduled, but I still had the fear, I still was terrified that that she had Down syndrome. I didn't know it was a she, actually, so I wake up in the middle of the night, and I sit up in bed. And I know I'm not dreaming. I just know I'm not dreaming. You know how you wake up from a dream and know, well, I was dreaming then, but now I'm not dreaming? Kind of like when you wake up in the morning, you know that what you experienced was a dream, and you know this is real. Well, I woke up, and I sat up in bed, and I heard that same voice. Camera died. Okay. So I woke up, I sat up, and heard that voice. That same voice that I'd heard back when I was doing the whippets. It was the same really deep timbered voice. It was the same, and it said, "She's perfect." Now, of course, my body knows that she's perfect, but I found out she was a girl, and at that point, I knew that there was nothing wrong with her, and I was completely reassured. And then, and the voice came telepathically, but it was a little bit over here, sort of, in a weird way, too. It was like here, but it was all around. I heard it, but it wasn't like with my ears. And the voice was an undescribable voice. It was not any voice like I'd ever heard before. It did sound masculine, but it was more of a deep timbre voice. So, I don't know. So anyway, I realized that I kind of am part of that community a little bit. So Dave and I would watch near-death experience stories. We just keep watching them. And then I got into watching the Lex Friedman podcast. And Lex Friedman is a person, he's an MIT student, and he is interviewing the most profoundly intelligent people around the world. Elon Musk, he's a groundbreaker. I don't know how intelligent he is, but he's a very interesting and groundbreaking person. And this guy interviews all of these kinds of people, biologists and AI, everything. He interviewed this guy, Donald Hoffman, that is a scientist and mathematician, and he's discovered that there's geometric patterns outside of space and time, which means that there's things that exist outside space and time. So that's what we're watching, okay? It's deep as crap. It's so deep and so profound. Am I a spiritual person yet? I don't know what I am, but I do know that I am starting to feel like something happens at the end of our lives, and I'm starting to feel more comforted that we continue on in some capacity. Our consciousness continues on in some capacity. I'd be curious to hear what you think. One, do you believe in an afterlife? Do you believe that we continue on? I mean, I know that people that are very religious and study the Bible and stuff like that obviously do believe, but you don't necessarily have to believe in God and Jesus and all of that to believe that something continues after we die. I mean, I don't know. It's so interesting, and I can't get enough of it. I just can't get enough of it. So I'm going to put under this video too some of my favorite near-death experiences. I don't know if you guys ever watched or read Proof of Heaven by Eben Alexander. He lives in Lynchburg, Virginia, so he just lives like right down the road from me. But that's kind of what we're, Dave and I are kind of doing that right now. So that's what we're watching. We are maybe doing a little traveling this summer, not much because I'm really busy. Let me tell you a little bit about Advents. So if you bought one of my David Bowie Advents, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm also doing a Halloween Advent. And Halloween Advents are going to be about The Last of Us. So below you can click the link and you can reserve yours. 31 skeins. It is going to be in a Donegal tweed, and it is going to be fingering weight. It's going to be 80 yards a skein. It's going to be 31 yards, and it's going to be, the colorways are going to be inspired by The Last of Us. And if you haven't seen The Last of Us, watch it. And there's actually going to be a project in there that you can do. So you can start with October 1st and knit it, and as you open up your Advent, knit it into this thing. The pattern will be in the yarn countdown. Let's not call it Advent, that's more Christmassy, but let's call it Halloween yarn countdown. So we have opened up, as soon as I put this podcast up for your viewing pleasure, I put the link up and you can go and pre-order the Advents. Now I'm only going to do 100 of those. So once we reach 100, we're done. We're closing it up, and there will be no extras further down later. There will be extras of the Advent, the Christmas one, closer to the time when they're shipping. But the Halloween, I'm opening up the pre-orders. Once we hit the 100, they're closed up. We're done. So, is that it? Ben graduated from high school. Marcella is starting high school. It's just crazy to me. Crazy town. We're all getting old. But life is an adventure, isn't it? And I'm loving it so far. Okay, so that's it for me for now. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye. All right, I'm here at a little workshop. We're going in.